Hello friends! Today I wanted to talk about my personal experience with a gastric emptying scan or a gastric emptying study. Before I had the test done, I was really nervous just because I didn't know what to expect, and I looked up other people's experiences and they all seemed to be really different, so this is my personal experience. Yours may be a little bit different. But watching those videos made me feel a little bit better about how it was going to go, so hopefully my video can help you too. And for reference, I got my scan or study done at the Vanderbilt Medical Center in Tennessee. I'm going to walk you through the entire process from before the appointment was even scheduled to the days after the appointment and when I got my results. So before the scan, I had an appointment with my gastroenterologist. I got a new one after transferring out of pediatric care, and I kind of discussed my symptoms with her. I was experiencing bloating, a low appetite, a lot of nausea and vomiting, not really feeling hungry or feeling full super quickly after eating. And based on those symptoms, my doctor recommended that we do a gastric emptying scan or a gastric emptying study. I'll be using both terms because it's the same test, just to see how quickly food was moving through my stomach. So when I got to the hospital for my appointment, I checked into the radiology department, and after a little while, a nurse came into the waiting room and asked me a couple questions about my allergies. She asked if I was allergic to eggs or gluten, and I said that I'm allergic to both. And because the standard meal for gastric emptying scans is usually toast and scrambled eggs, they weren't able to do that, so instead I got oatmeal. After they finished making the meal, they brought me back to a different radiology room and had a little tiny bottle of water and a little cup of oatmeal with a spoon, and they gave me 10 minutes to eat the oatmeal. It was more than enough time. I finished it in probably 3. And then as soon as I was done eating, they took me to the x-ray room and got the first x-ray of my stomach. I stood in a machine that looked like this, and I stood to the side in it, and I had my hands over the top of the machine. That way it was only getting my stomach and not my arms. And the scan itself takes about 1 minute. You just have to stand super still. That was really the hardest part, was just standing still for that long. It was totally painless. It's just like a normal x-ray. They just took a picture. Then after that, I went back to the waiting room and I waited around 15 minutes and they got me for another scan. It was the same deal. I just stood there with my arms over the machine. They took another picture. It took about a minute, and every 15 minutes for the first hour, I went back and forth doing that. After the first hour of getting scans every 15 minutes, I waited an hour, and then at the 2-hour mark, I went and I took another scan, and then I waited 2 more hours. So at the 4-hour mark, I took my last scan. So for the first hour, it was every 15 minutes. For the second hour, it was after 1 hour, and then the last 2 hours, there's one at the very end. Like I said, each scan takes about 1 minute, so it was very quick. Most of the appointment is you just kind of sitting and waiting. After the final scan, they told me I was good to go. I didn't need to schedule any follow-up, so I left. The appointment was a lot easier than I expected. There were no needles, there was no extra testing needed. It was mostly just eating, and then waiting, and then getting a scan, and then waiting, then getting a scan, and then waiting again. I actually got my results the next day. It was a lot quicker than I anticipated. I was ready to wait like 2 weeks, but I got it the next day. The hospital uploaded my scans to my patient portal, so I got pictures of it, and they also gave me a lot of clinical notes, which were filled with a lot of fancy medical words that I didn't know the explanations of. And then the day after that, I received a message in my portal from my gastroenterologist explaining what all of those fancy words meant and what all the pictures meant. She also went over my diagnosis, which is rapid gastric emptying, also known as dumping syndrome, which I think that name is just rude. It makes it sound like I have poop disease. I do not have poop disease. And then she went over what the next steps would be and asked me to schedule an appointment with her. Overall, my gastric emptying scan was a lot less scary than I anticipated. I didn't think it was going to be too scary, but I was still pretty nervous. It was a lot less intimidating than I thought and a lot more boring than I thought, so I recommend bringing a book, bringing a game, bringing something to do. If you're getting this test done soon, hopefully this video makes you feel a little bit less nervous, just like I felt after watching some videos. And just know that everybody's experience is going to be different. This was my personal experience. It was very good. If you've had a gastric emptying scan, feel free to tell me about how it went in the comments. Tell me if you had a good experience, a bad experience, what could have gone better. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a quick video, but hopefully this helped you. I love you so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.